baseball bat, football. Two of the instruments used to score points in their respective games. And Bo Jackson, the one-man band who became an all-star in both sports. And the guy everyone ran in circles with in the Tecmo Super Bowl video game. Let's get to know Bo. November 30th, 1962. Vincent Edward Jackson was born, the 8th of 10 children born to Florence Jackson, a struggling single mother barely able to make ends meet with her housekeeping job. Bo's father, A.D. Adams, never wed Florence, and in fact had a family of his own on the opposite side of town. Bo was the bad kid growing up in Bessemer, a steel town just southwest of Birmingham. From breaking windows, stealing bicycles, and growing a notorious reputation for beating up kids in the neighborhood, his brothers coined the nickname Wild Boar, as that was the only animal he was comparable to. Wild Boar would eventually be shortened to just Bo. Bo's troublemaking came to a screeching halt after an incident in which he and several other boys were throwing rocks at a Baptist minister's pigs, killing several of them. The preacher demanded Bo to repay him, and with Bo's mom growing concerns about her son, that same preacher encouraged his mom to send him to reformatory school, giving Bo an ultimatum: go to reformatory school or make a complete behavioral 180. Jackson made the decision to stop terrorizing the neighborhood and put all of his focus on sports. It was apparent early on that he had a God-given talent on the baseball diamond. At just 13 years old, he was playing in the Bessemer Industrial League against grown men.
Whoa, dude, you smell like beer. You look like beer.
As he got older, he continued to set himself apart from the pack. At McCattery High School, he was must-see TV, winning the track and field state championship in the decathlon twice. As a senior, he set a single-season prep record of 20 home runs in just 25 games, missing 7 of them to compete in track. In his final year of high school football, Bo rushed for over 1,100 yards on just 108 carries. With the amount of options after high school for Bo, an easy decision didn't exist. The Yankees drafted him in the second round of the 1982 drafts, but Mama Jackson was adamant that he get a college degree, which led to the recruiting race between the two bigs in the state of Alabama, Auburn University and the University of Alabama. Jackson was admittedly a fan of Bear Bryant and the Crimson Tide, and with the school's winning tradition, it was almost a guarantee that Jackson ended up in Tuscaloosa. An Alabama assistant coach made a crucial mistake when recruiting Bo, saying he might start by his junior season.
Idiot. You're drinking the wrong water.
That was all it took for Bo to tell Auburn's second-year head coach Pat Dye where he was going. The Crimson Tide had a 9-game winning streak in the Iron Bowl against the Tigers, heading into Bo's freshman year on campus. The 1982 Iron Bowl cemented Bo in War Eagle lore. Going into the last 5 minutes of the game down 22-17, Auburn stops a roaring Alabama offense and marched the ball all the way down to the 1-yard line. Jackson got the give and went over the top to snap the almost decade-long losing streak. Bo's collegiate career accolades were mostly football dominated. Deion Sanders even tells a story about getting stiff-armed by Bo in his freshman year at Florida State.
But when I got there, Bo...
Hush up, boy.
Jackson missed most of his junior season due to injury, but during his money season at Auburn in the fall of 1985, he had a total of 1,859 yards from scrimmage and 17 rushing touchdowns, winning the Heisman Trophy in a landslide. One of the biggest scandals in sports history occurred during his senior year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers invited Bo to visit their facilities, telling Bo that meeting with them prior to the draft would not be an NCAA violation, causing Bo to miss most of his senior baseball season at Auburn. Bo still believes it was a deliberate ploy by the Bucs to keep him away from baseball. The Buccaneers drafted Bo Jackson with the first overall pick in the 1986 NFL Draft, even after Bo made it very clear he would not play for them. A couple months later, he was drafted by the Kansas City Royals in the 4th round of the amateur draft, finding his way onto the team at the end of his rookie season, becoming a staple of the team's roster in the 1987 season as the team's left fielder. The football side of things started to resurge that next year, with Tampa Bay forfeiting Bo Jackson's rights. Al Davis and the Raiders decided to select him during the 7th round of the 1987 NFL Draft. Bo was persuaded by the Raiders' legendary owner, who was a huge fan of Bo and was receptive to him playing both sports if Bo was interested. Davis made sure Bo would be able to finish baseball season no matter what, also putting quite a bit of cash in his pocket. In the fall of his rookie season on a Monday Night Football matchup between the Seahawks and the Raiders, Bo Jackson showed the country the hype was real. Seahawks middle linebacker and Oklahoma football legend Brian Bosworth, aka the Boz, made a promise to the media that he'd be able to contain Bo, which was proven false by the second quarter, with Jackson burning past him for a 91-yard score and then running him over at the goal line in embarrassing fashion. Bo was the definition of productive. With only 81 carries in his rookie year, he rushed for 554 yards. But 1987 and 1988 were really just the preamble for what he was going to accomplish from 1989 to 1990. Bo slugged his way to the All-Star game with 32 homers during the 1989 season, and then turned around in the fall and ran for 950 yards in just 11 games. Nike's Bo Knows advertisement campaign for cross-training shoes was perfectly geared for an athlete like him. 1 year later, Jackson would be selected to his first Pro Bowl, rushing for almost 700 yards through 10 games. Sadly enough, Bo's one-of-a-kind career ended at the blink of an eye. On January 13th, 1991, in a playoff game against the Cincinnati Bengals, Bo was tackled from behind after dashing for 35 yards. That was the last snap he would take in a Raiders uniform. Bo dislocated his hip on that play, leading him to pop it back into socket on his own. Which severely damaged an important artery carrying blood flow to that area, causing his hip to suffer further bone decay. Forcing his abrupt retirement from football, the Kansas City Royals would later cut him in spring training, shutting the lights off on a career that was really just getting started. After a few more years in the major leagues serving brief stints with the White Sox and Angels, Bo would retire from professional sports for good. In his 8 years in the majors, Bo hit 141 home runs to pair with 415 RBIs. In his 4-year career playing running back with the Oakland Raiders, he finished with over 3,000 all-purpose yards and 18 touchdowns. I've always wondered how much more he could have accomplished if the hip injury didn't take place, or if his focus was all in on one sport. I really want to hear what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you aren't already. Deuce.
Gotta go for the ball game.